Imagine a civilization so powerful that its monuments would still be standing 5,000 years after its first king died. A world where gold was as common as dust, and a single man's word was the law of the universe. This isn't a fantasy novel. This was Egypt. When we think of ancient Egypt, we think of the finished product, the pyramids, the golden masks, the vast armies. But there's a problem with that picture. We often treat Egypt as if it just appeared out of the sand, fully formed. The truth is much more chaotic. Before the pharaohs, Egypt was a fractured land of warring tribes, a brutal desert where the Nile was your only lifeline. How did a group of river dwellers transform a strip of green mud into the most sophisticated empire the world had ever seen? It wasn't just luck. It was a masterclass in organization, branding, and cold, hard power. It all started with a man named Narmer, or Menes, depending on which dusty scroll you prefer. Around 3100 BCE, he did the unthinkable. He unified Upper and Lower Egypt. This wasn't just a political merger, it was a branding revolution. He combined the white crown and the red crown to create the Shent, but unification was only the start. The Old Kingdom expansion wasn't about conquering foreign lands yet. It was about conquering the Nile itself. They built a bureaucracy of water. By controlling the irrigation, they controlled the food. And if you control the food, you control the people. Now, how do you keep millions of people in line without a modern police force? You convince them that you aren't just a boss, you're a god. The pharaoh was the living embodiment of Horus. Under him was the vizier, basically the prime minister, chief justice, and treasurer, all rolled into one. They operated under Ma'at, the concept of truth, balance, and cosmic order. The law was simple. If you disrupted the balance, you weren't just a criminal, you were an enemy of the universe. The tax system was equally genius. No money? No problem. You paid in grain, or more importantly, in labor. This corvée labor is exactly how those massive pyramids actually got built. It wasn't slaves, it was a national tax paid in sweat. For a long time, Egypt was isolated and peaceful, but then the world got smaller and more dangerous. By the time of the New Kingdom expansion, the Egyptian military was a terrifying machine. They didn't just have soldiers, they had specialists. We're talking elite archers who could hit a target from a moving chariot at full gallop. They adopted the composite bow and the chariot from the Hyksos and perfected them. The army was divided into 4 massive divisions, each named after a god: Amun, Ra, Ptah, and Set. Imagine 20,000 men marching through the Levant, the sun glinting off their bronze scales. It must have looked like the end of the world to their enemies. Gold. To the Egyptians, it was the flesh of the gods, and they had a lot of it. They tapped into the gold mines of Nubia to the south, but their real wealth came from being the trade hub of the ancient world. They traded grain and fine linen for things they lacked: cedar wood from Lebanon, copper from Cyprus, and exotic incense from the mysterious land of Punt. Queen Hatshepsut's expedition to Punt is a legendary story. She didn't just bring back goods, she brought back entire living frankincense trees. Talk about a flex. This wealth allowed them to fund the arts and architecture that still baffle us today. But wealth on this scale? It does things to the ego. Enter Amenhotep the Magnificent. He didn't just want to be a king. He wanted to be the sun itself. To show off his wealth, he built a pleasure lake for his wife, Queen T, over a mile long. And he filled it with water in just 15 days. Imagine the manpower. He threw parties where the wine flowed like the Nile, and the floors were made of silver. But here's where the arc turns dark. This peak of wealth birthed his son, Akhenaten. Akhenaten took that absolute power and went, well, outlandish is an understatement. He decided the old gods were dead. He closed the temples, erased the names of the ancient deities, and moved the entire capital to a brand new city in the middle of a literal desert. He spent the empire's gold on a religious revolution while the borders were being swallowed by enemies. He was so obsessed with his own vision that he let the world's greatest superpower rot from the inside out. When he died, the people were so angry that they didn't just bury him. They tried to delete him. They smashed his statues, chiseled his face off the walls, and left his golden city to be reclaimed by the sand. The ultimate wealth led to ultimate erasure. So, what can we actually learn from a 5,000-year-old empire? 1. Build for the long term. The pharaohs didn't care about the next quarter. They cared about the next millennium. Stop thinking about next week and start building your legacy. 2. Master your Nile. Identify the one resource in your life that creates everything else, whether it's your focus, your health, or a specific skill, and guard it fiercely. 3. The power of branding. The Egyptians knew that symbols, like the pyramids or the Ankh, are more powerful than words. How are you presenting yourself to the world?
Nothing lasts forever. Civil wars, foreign invasions from the sea people, and environmental shifts eventually brought the giants to their knees. But even in collapse, Egypt won. The Greeks studied their math, the Romans obsessed over their stones, and today, you're sitting here, thousands of years later, still captivated by them. The empire fell, but the idea of Egypt is eternal. If you want to see how the rivals of Egypt, the Hittites, almost brought the pharaohs to their end, click this video right here. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't get lost in the sands of time. Thanks for watching. Go build something that lasts.